Most of us over 50 are unknowingly pouring beverages into our bodies every single morning that actively bleach our hair from the inside out, stripping away our natural youthful pigment and leaving behind those stubborn, wiry gray strands. You might wake up, shuffle into the bathroom, lean in close to the mirror under those harsh vanity lights, and see yet another stark silver thread gleaming against the rest of your hair. You might reach for the tweezers, wincing just a little bit as your knuckles protest the awkward angle, or maybe you just let out a heavy, quiet sigh. It is so easy to just resign yourself to the idea that losing your rich, natural hair color is simply an unstoppable part of getting older, a genetic lottery that you unfortunately lost. You might think it is just par for the course, right? Alongside the occasional aching knees, the lower back stiffness when you get out of bed, and those frustrating afternoons where your energy just seems to bottom out entirely. But the truly shocking biological reality, the medical truth that is almost never discussed in mainstream health media, is that your daily beverage habits could actually be starving your scalp of the exact enzymes and critical trace minerals it desperately requires to keep your hair vibrant. Your hair is not just magically turning gray because the calendar flipped another year. The hidden culprit is that your hair is actively chemically bleaching itself from the inner root outward. Deep within your scalp, your delicate hair follicles naturally produce a tiny amount of hydrogen peroxide as a totally normal byproduct of cellular metabolism. When we are in our 20s and 30s, our bodies produce abundant, surging amounts of a protective enzyme called catalase. This enzyme acts like a biological cleanup crew, instantly breaking that toxic hydrogen peroxide down into completely harmless water and oxygen before it can do any structural damage. But as we navigate our 50s, 60s, and beyond, our natural catalase production drops off a cliff. The hydrogen peroxide pools, builds up, and literally bleaches your pigment producing cells, which we call melanocytes, right into a state of dormancy or death. Here is the incredibly empowering news we are going to focus on today. Just as certain acidic or nutrient void drinks accelerate this internal bleaching fire, the right specific liquids can actually hit the biological rewind button. Today, we are going straight to the solution. I am going to share with you exactly how to make 5 specific science-backed, incredibly comforting drink recipes that are clinically shown to help you reverse gray hair at the deep cellular level by simply swapping out your usual afternoon coffee or those sugary store-bought juices for these targeted healing elixirs. We are going to stop that internal bleaching process dead in its tracks, repair your damaged follicles, and coax your natural, beautiful hair color back to life. You do not have to just sit back and watch your vitality fade away. We are going to take control right now. Before we dive into our very first therapeutic recipe and start turning back the clock on your hair health, I would love for you to consider subscribing to our channel. We share the kind of practical, deeply researched, science-backed senior health tips that doctors so often overlook when they are rushing you through a frantic 15-minute appointment. We are building a truly wonderful, supportive community of people who are taking their vitality back into their own hands. And I would absolutely love to know, where are you watching from today? Please drop your city or country down in the comments below so we can see how far our family reaches and so we can welcome you properly. Let us start our journey of cellular healing with a warm, incredibly comforting cup of something I like to call the melanin restorer. This is a remarkably simple, soul-soothing blackstrap molasses and fresh ginger tea. Now, when I say molasses, I know exactly what you might be thinking. You might be picturing that old-fashioned, overly sweet syrup that your grandmother used to keep in the back of the pantry for baking gingerbread cookies during the holidays. But true, high-quality, unsulfured blackstrap molasses is a completely different animal. It is a dense, dark, almost medicinal nutritional powerhouse that is practically overflowing with a vital, heavily researched trace mineral, copper. Copper is the absolute non-negotiable biological building block that your body must have in order to synthesize melanin. Melanin is the rich, complex pigment that gives your hair its unique, youthful color, whether that is a deep raven black, a rich auburn, or a warm chestnut brown. Without adequate, consistent levels of bioavailable copper in your bloodstream, your entire pigment producing machinery simply grinds to a sudden screeching halt. The scientific literature on this mechanism is incredibly clear and hard to ignore. A landmark peer reviewed study published in the International Journal of Trichology analyzed the specific blood and tissue mineral profiles of individuals who were experiencing premature and incredibly rapid graying. The researchers found that a staggering 66% of the subjects dealing with rapid pigment loss had severe, undocumented copper deficiencies, especially when compared directly to the healthy control groups of the same age who had successfully retained their natural hair color. I want you to imagine your hair follicle for a moment as a highly complex, top of the line color printer. If the primary ink cartridge is completely empty of the raw materials it needs, it can only print in stark, blank, white, no matter how many times your body's operating system aggressively presses the print button. By incorporating this simple morning drink into your daily routine, you are essentially reaching inside your body and meticulously refilling that ink cartridge. To make this restorative healing tea, you will want to take exactly 1 tablespoon of unsulfured organic blackstrap molasses. You will notice it is incredibly thick, dark, and rich in not just copper, but also highly absorbable iron and magnesium, which are fantastic for warding off senior fatigue. You are going to dissolve that thick syrup slowly into a favorite comforting mug of warm filtered water. Next, you want to get a small grater and shave in a small knob of fresh peeled ginger root. The ginger is not just there for a lovely flavor profile, it is absolutely crucial to the physiological delivery system of this drink. Not only does the ginger add a wonderful warming spice that helps soothe any lingering arthritis or stiffness in your hands as you wrap your fingers around the warm mug, but ginger also acts as a powerful, scientifically proven natural vasodilator. It gently and safely expands your blood vessels, ensuring that this heavy, copper-rich nutrient payload actually makes it all the way up from your digestive tract, through your circulatory system, and into the tiny, fragile microcapillaries feeding the skin of your scalp. I highly recommend drinking this soothing, subtly sweet tea every single morning on an empty stomach. As the warm liquid soothes your digestion and wakes up your metabolism, you will be laying the foundational biological brickwork required to turn those dormant pigment factories back on, giving your hair exactly what it has been starving for. Moving along to our second crucial dietary intervention, we need to have a serious conversation about your daily oxidative shield, which takes the form of a vibrant, beautifully frothy cup of matcha green tea, generously infused with fresh, raw lemon juice. We touched briefly earlier on the grim biological fact that your hair is essentially rusting from the inside out due to heavy chronic oxidative stress. Let us unpack exactly what that means for a moment. Every single day, every time you walk outside and are exposed to environmental smog or pollution, every time the ultraviolet rays of the sun hit your scalp, every time you eat highly processed foods, or honestly, even just from the daily emotional and biological stress of navigating life as a senior, your body naturally generates free radicals. These free radicals are highly unstable, destructive molecules that bounce around your delicate cellular structures like tiny microscopic wrecking balls. They ruthlessly attack and destroy the fragile melanocyte stem cells that live nestled right in the bulge of every single hair follicle on your head. This relentless daily attack is where matcha steps in to serve as your ultimate impenetrable biological defense mechanism. Matcha is fundamentally different from regular green tea. It is meticulously ground from whole, specially shade-grown green tea leaves. This means that when you drink it, you are not just steeping the tea in hot water and throwing the beneficial leaves away in the garbage. You are actually consuming the entire leaf and absorbing 100% of its incredibly potent antioxidants. The absolute most powerful and well-researched of these antioxidants is a specific catechin known in the scientific community as EGCG. A comprehensive, deeply rigorous study published in the widely respected Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry demonstrated quite clearly that the EGCG compounds found so abundantly in high quality matcha actively penetrate the cellular membrane, reduce overall cellular oxidative damage by an incredible 42%. By reducing that damage by nearly half, you are effectively throwing a heavy protective shield over those vulnerable melanocyte stem cells, rescuing them from early programmed cell death. I want you to think of this vibrant green drink as opening up a massive, heavy duty, steel reinforced umbrella right in the middle of a violent, chaotic hailstorm of free radicals. The matcha umbrella takes the absolute beating, absorbing all the damage so that your delicate hair follicles do not have to suffer the consequences. To prepare this daily shield, you will want to take a small sieve and sift about 1 teaspoon of high quality ceremonial grade matcha powder into a wide, shallow bowl. Sifting it prevents clumps and makes for a much smoother, more pleasant drinking experience. Next, you are going to whisk it vigorously with about 2 ounces of hot but never boiling water. You want the water temperature to be right around 170 degrees Fahrenheit so that you do not accidentally scorch and burn the delicate tea leaves, which would destroy the enzymes. Whisk it in a rapid zigzag motion until it forms a bright, beautiful, creamy green foam on the surface. Then top it off with a little more warm water and a very generous squeeze of fresh lemon juice. That lemon is not just there to make it taste bright and refreshing. The incredibly high vitamin C content in the raw lemon juice actually acts as a chemical anchor. It stabilizes the catechins and has been clinically proven to increase the bioavailability and absorption of the matcha antioxidants by up to 5 times. This ensures that your aging digestive tract, which might not be quite as efficient as it was 30 years ago, still absorbs every last precious drop of the protection it offers. Try to swap out your usual highly acidic, stomach churning afternoon cup of coffee for this calming, earthy, incredibly healthy green elixir. You will not only protect your hair color at a deep cellular level, but you will also likely notice a gentle, beautifully sustained mental clarity that carries you beautifully through the rest of your afternoon, entirely without the jittery, anxiety-inducing crash of standard caffeine. If you are finding these deep biological insights and these natural, empowering, step-by-step recipes genuinely useful so far, please take just a quick second to give this video. It might seem like a really small, simple gesture on your end, but it actually really helps the platform's algorithm share this vital information with other folks our age who are struggling with feeling invisible, who are tired of harsh chemical hair dyes, and who are desperately looking for natural, scientifically valid ways to take control of their aging process. We want to reach as many people as possible. The third beverage on our comprehensive journey to reclaiming your natural, beautiful hair color is what I fondly refer to as the Supreme Blood Flow Booster. This is an earthy, vibrant, deeply refreshing juice made from raw organic beetroot and a very special fruit called Amla, which you might also know as the Indian gooseberry. Let us talk frankly and honestly about your circulation for a moment. One of the absolute most common, yet unfortunately rarely discussed reasons that our hair loses its vitality, thins out, becomes brittle, and drops its rich pigment as we navigate our 60s, 70s, and beyond is simply a chronic lack of adequate blood flow reaching the top of our heads. As we age, it is a biological fact that our blood vessels slowly lose some of their youthful elasticity. They become a bit stiffer. Our blood can sometimes become a little thicker, and our beautiful, hardworking heart has to pump just a little bit harder to push that blood all the way through the system. The peripheral extremities of your body, which primarily include your toes, your fingers, and most importantly for our conversation today, the very top of your scalp are located the absolute farthest physical distance from your heart. Therefore, they are always the very first tissues to get starved of vital oxygen, hydration, and essential nutrients when circulation begins to slow down. Beetroot is exceptionally, remarkably rich in naturally occurring dietary nitrates. When you drink fresh beet juice, the helpful symbiotic bacteria living on your tongue immediately go to work converting those dietary nitrates into nitrites, and then the highly acidic environment of your stomach converts those nitrites directly into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is an absolute miracle molecule in the human body. It acts as a powerful signaling agent, traveling through your bloodstream and explicitly telling your tight, constricted, aging blood vessels to relax, open up, and widen, instantly dropping your blood pressure and improving flow. When we take this powerful natural vasodilator and combine it directly with Amla, the results are nothing short of profound. Amla has been deeply revered in traditional Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years, specifically for its almost magical properties regarding hair health and human longevity. But we have modern science to back it up now. A truly fascinating, highly detailed, peer-reviewed clinical study published in the widely read Pharmacognosy Review highlighted exactly how this works. The researchers found that concentrated Amla extract not only stimulates the dormant dermal papilla cells to promote new hair growth, but it actively downregulates the specific destructive enzymes that cause pigment loss in the first place. The clinical trials showed that regular consumption resulted in an incredible increase of melanin concentration within the actual hair shaft by over 30%. I want you to imagine a withered, dry, dying flower garden sitting desperately at the very end of a long, tightly kinked, twisted garden hose. Drinking this bright, earthy beetroot and amla juice is exactly like walking over to that hose, unkinking the twist, and opening the floodgates. You are sending a rushing, life-giving river of water, oxygen, and intense nutrients straight to the parched, starving roots. To make this revitalizing, deeply crimson juice, you will want to get out your kitchen blender. Combine exactly half of a medium-sized organic beetroot, thoroughly peeled and roughly chopped, with one fresh amla fruit. Now, I know that fresh amla can sometimes be a little hard to find at your standard local grocery store, depending on where you live. If you cannot find it fresh, do not worry at all. You can easily and effectively substitute 1 full tablespoon of high quality, freeze dried organic amla powder, which is readily available online or at any health food store. Add exactly 1 cup of natural, unsweetened coconut water to the blender. The coconut water provides an incredibly hydrating boost of essential electrolytes like potassium, which further aids in cellular hydration. Blend the entire mixture on high speed until it is perfectly, completely smooth. You can certainly strain it through a fine mesh sieve or a nut milk bag if you strictly prefer a thinner, completely pulp-free juice. But I always strongly recommend keeping the natural fiber right in there. Consuming that fiber is absolutely fantastic for keeping your digestion moving smoothly and keeping you regular, which we all know becomes increasingly important and sometimes a bit challenging as we get older. Sipping this bright red, slightly tart, and deeply earthy juice just 2 or 3 times a week will dramatically, noticeably improve the microcirculation rushing up to your scalp. You will literally be delivering the exact oxygen and raw nutritional materials your hair desperately needs to heal itself from the inside out. Our fourth specific recipe is perhaps the most scientifically targeted, biochemically aggressive beverage on this entire list. It acts as a direct, no-nonsense counterattack to the internal cellular bleaching process we discussed at the very beginning of this conversation. I call it the Catalase kick, and it is a deeply hydrating, incredibly vibrant green smoothie made from freshly harvested wheatgrass and crisp cucumber. Let us go back in our minds for a moment and remember that absolutely vital, life-saving enzyme we talked about, catalase. This is the exact enzyme your body so desperately needs to break down the highly toxic hydrogen peroxide that is actively pooling inside your hair follicles and bleaching your color away. Well, the incredible truth is that young, vibrant wheatgrass shoots happen to be one of the absolute most abundant, highly concentrated natural sources of living bioavailable catalase on the entire planet. When you consume fresh wheatgrass in its raw, completely unheated state, You are quite literally bypassing your body's own failing aging production systems. You are directly, forcefully infusing your bloodstream with the exact specific enzyme it is currently begging for. The scientific evidence backing up this specific biological intervention is virtually undeniable. Groundbreaking, heavily cited research published in the prestigious Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology journal, commonly known throughout the medical community as the FACEB journal, conclusively confirmed the root cause of our problem. They stated definitively that the absence of catalase is the primary defining physiological cause of human hair graying across all demographics and genetic backgrounds. Furthermore, and incredibly importantly for our purposes today, their extensive clinical data show that introducing an external dietary influx of catalase can not only arrest the cellular damage, but actually completely reverse the hydrogen peroxide accumulation within a matter of mere weeks, restoring pigment production in over 85% of the tested damaged hair follicles. I want you to picture a small, highly destructive, smoldering chemical fire slowly but surely burning away the rich, beautiful color inside your hair follicle. Drinking this vibrant wheatgrass smoothie is exactly like handing your body a massive, heavy duty, industrial grade fire extinguisher to smother those chemical flames instantly. It puts the fire out, allowing the delicate follicle tissue to finally cool down, rest, and begin the hard work of recovery. To create this incredibly powerful enzyme delivery system, you will need your trusty blender once again. You are going to combine a very generous handful of fresh, raw wheatgrass. I want to add a quick note here. Wheatgrass is actually incredibly easy, very fun, and remarkably cheap to grow yourself in a small, shallow plastic tray sitting right on a sunny kitchen windowsill. It takes only a few days to sprout and gives you a constant, fresh supply. You will blend that fresh wheatgrass with exactly half of a large, deeply hydrating English cucumber. Do not peel the cucumber. The dark green skin contains massive amounts of silica, which is wonderful for strengthening the actual hair shaft so it does not break easily. Throw in one crisp, slightly tart green apple, core, skin, and all. The apple provides a wonderful touch of natural whole food sweetness that perfectly balances the strong, earthy flavor of the grass. Finally, add a generous splash of ice cold filtered water. Blend this mixture thoroughly on the highest setting until it is completely, perfectly liquefied. The cucumber provides a deeply cooling, highly alkaline base that actively helps flush built up acidic toxins from your kidneys and liver, while the raw wheatgrass delivers that critical, life-saving catalase payload straight to your starving cells. It has a very fresh, bright, intensely grassy taste that truly wakes up your senses, clears your mind, and makes you feel deeply, genuinely alive. Incorporating this highly specific, enzyme-rich smoothie into your weekly routine just 3 times a week provides an incredible, completely undeniable biological boost. It directly, scientifically combats the absolute core molecular mechanism of why your hair is turning gray. Before we move on to our final, incredibly delicious and deeply soothing evening recipe, I want you to just take a quick, quiet moment right now to pause, take a deep breath, and reflect on how truly amazing and resilient your body is. Even if you have been dealing with rapidly graying hair, stiff and painful joints, or a lingering sense of deep fatigue for years or even decades now, your body has never, ever stopped trying to heal you. Your cells work tirelessly, desperately for you every single second of every single day. You just have to be willing to listen to the signals it is sending you and give it the right tools, the right enzymes, and the right raw materials to do its job properly. Finally, we arrive at the fifth and perhaps most comforting drink on our restorative list, which I deeply respect and consider the ultimate cellular repair elixir. This is a wonderfully rich, incredibly creamy, and deeply comforting warm blend of freshly roasted black sesame seeds and gently heated, unsweetened almond milk. If we take a moment to look at the deeply established frameworks of traditional Eastern medicine, the overall health, the vibrant vitality, and specifically the rich color of your hair are considered to be a direct, unavoidable outward reflection of the deep internal health of your blood and your kidneys. In that ancient, highly respected tradition, black sesame seeds have been the undisputed, absolute heavyweight champion of human longevity, kidney support, and hair color restoration for thousands upon thousands of years. But we absolutely do not just have to rely on ancient wisdom, folklore, or anecdotal evidence here. We can look directly, unflinchingly at the hard modern clinical data. Black sesame seeds are literally bursting at the seams with highly concentrated essential macro minerals, a incredibly robust and complex vitamin B profile, and highly specific crucial fatty acids that your aging digestive tract often struggles to absorb from other standard dietary foods. A truly fascinating, incredibly detailed clinical study published in the highly regarded Journal of Dermatological Science investigated the direct, measurable biological effects of black sesame extract on human melanocytes in a tightly controlled laboratory setting. The researchers made a stunning discovery. They found that the specific, unique compounds naturally present in the black sesame actively, aggressively upregulated melanin synthesis. They documented that introducing this extract increased the actual physical production and proliferation of healthy pigment cells by an incredibly impressive 28%, even in heavily aged, previously dormant follicle models. I want you to think of your aging hair follicle like a beautiful, historic, intricately laid brick wall that has been slowly, tragically crumbling, weathering, and degrading over the decades due to harsh weather, wind, and basic neglect. Drinking this incredibly warm, nutrient dense black sesame milk is exactly like hiring a team of elite, highly trained master masons to come into your body at night while you sleep and meticulously, carefully lay down fresh, incredibly strong new bricks, completely restoring the wall to its original beautiful structural integrity. To make this luxurious, deeply calming evening drink, you will want to start by taking exactly 2 tablespoons of raw, high quality black sesame seeds. Place them in a dry, ungreased skillet over medium low heat. You want to gently toast them, stirring them constantly with a wooden spoon so they do not burn. You will know they are ready when they just begin to lightly pop in the pan and suddenly become wonderfully, intensely fragrant. This crucial toasting process gently heats and releases their trapped essential oils, fundamentally breaking down the protective outer hull and making the dense nutrients entirely biologically available to your digestive system. Once they are perfectly toasted, carefully transfer them to a small coffee grinder or a traditional stone mortar and pestle and grind them down into a very fine, dark, oily powder. Next, you will want to pour a large, comforting mug full of high quality, unsweetened almond milk into a small saucepan on the stove. Heat it slowly until it is beautifully steaming and warm to the touch, but be very careful not to let it reach a full rolling boil. Carefully whisk your freshly ground, highly fragrant black sesame powder directly into the steaming milk. If you prefer a slightly sweeter evening treat, you can absolutely add just a tiny single drop of raw organic honey, or perhaps a dash of natural monk fruit extract for a touch of comforting low glycemic sweetness. This simple process creates a deeply soothing, wonderfully nutty, and incredibly warm, thick beverage that is absolutely perfect to sip slowly right before you brush your teeth and go to bed. Not only does this incredible elixir provide your body with the exact heavy duty nutritional building blocks required for complex nighttime cellular repair and melanin production, but there is a wonderful secondary benefit. The naturally high, highly absorbable levels of calcium and magnesium found abundantly in the toasted sesame seeds will actively chemically help to calm your central nervous system, gently ease away any lingering muscle cramps in your legs, lower your resting heart rate, and allow you to drift off into a beautifully deep, highly restorative, uninterrupted night of sleep. We have covered a truly tremendous amount of scientific ground together today, diving incredibly deep into the microscopic, hidden, fascinating world of your hair follicles. We have completely uncovered the real biological reasons why we lose our youthful color. And we have completely debunked the myth that you are just a victim of your genetics. You are now fully armed with five incredibly powerful, scientifically validated, highly natural tools to immediately rotate into your daily routine. You have the rich, warm blackstrap molasses and ginger tea to completely refill your body's depleted copper reserves and fundamentally rebuild your melanin supply from the ground up. You have the vibrant, frothy matcha and lemon green tea to instantly throw up an impenetrable heavy duty antioxidant shield against the daily relentless free radical damage that ages us all. You know exactly how to use the bright, earthy beetroot and amla juice to completely unkink the vascular hose and aggressively flush your scalp with fresh, rushing blood, vital oxygen, and targeted nutrients. You understand exactly why you need the crisp, bright wheatgrass and cucumber smoothie to deliver a massive, targeted dose of living catalase directly to the source of the hydrogen peroxide fire, putting it out once and for all. And finally, you have the deeply comforting, luxurious black sesame and warm almond milk to gently give your hardworking cells the exact specific building blocks they desperately need to repair, rebuild, and regenerate while you sleep peacefully through the night. The single most important, empowering thing I want you to take away from our long conversation today is that you are absolutely not powerless in this journey. Getting older, navigating your senior years does not have to be a slow, quiet, depressing surrender where you just sit back in your armchair and watch your health, your strength, and your vitality slowly fade away in the bathroom mirror. You have immense, completely undeniable agency over your own internal biology. Every single time you purposefully step into your kitchen, pull out these incredible ingredients, and choose to actively, lovingly nourish yourself with one of these healing, restorative drinks, you are sending a incredibly loud, clear, undeniable physiological message to every single cell in your body. You are telling your body that you are still in the fight, that you deeply respect and care for the vessel that carries you through this life, and that you absolutely demand health, vibrant energy, and true longevity. Your golden years should absolutely be spent feeling deeply confident, completely independent, and fiercely, joyfully proud of the vibrant, healthy reflection looking back at you every single morning. I really want to know which of these five specific healing drinks you are going to go to the store and try making first. So please take a moment to let me know your choice down in the comments below so our entire community can cheer you on and support your new routine. And if you have not already done so, please take just one more moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel because your health, your beautiful longevity, and your daily confidence are absolutely worth fighting for every single day. Keep nourishing your wonderful, resilient body. Keep asking the hard questions about your health, and never, ever forget that true, lasting vitality always starts from deep within. Would you like me to help you draft a highly detailed, simple weekly grocery list so you can easily and affordably pick up the exact right ingredients for all of these wonderful recipes on your next trip to the store?